Well, here we are, guys. FGF 152. That's how many episodes we've done of this
of this particular type of episode.
Of this particular type of episode. 150 fucking 2. And
guys, we've also done basically 700 episodes now, and we've been doing this podcast for almost 8 years.
Wow.
And look at this. I'm in Montreal eating sushi. And we're doing
Don't
it.
eat into the microphone. Don't eat into the microphone though.
I honestly,
Unless you want to get hate mail.
I can't handle you eating right now because I'm so fucking hungry.
Right, well, then
I had
let's-
a big lunch.
Let's
so
get through
I'm
it.
getting, I'm getting hangry.
I
Brian said
have
he's Hungarian.
I have an interesting story coming out of Artifact, which is a new AI-based social media platform that Brian and I have been really stoked about. Tate,
I
you
have
got
it too, guys.
Did you get? Oh, you got on it. I didn't know if you hopped on it or not.
Dude, I do AI.
All right.
It's not even AI.
Dude,
It's got AI.
Chat.
It's got AI.
There's
Chat.
actually like almost no AI to it. It's just like news articles. It's basically the news. It makes you read the news more because it makes it social media news, which makes you do anything more when it's social media.
I suppose. I guess I have been more apt to read the articles that have more views.
Mm-hmm. Have you been more apt to read when it gives you a push notification and says, if you don't read today, you're going to blow your streak?
Yeah, I have.
No, I don't fucking pay attention to that bullshit because I'm smarter than that.
Dude, I hate blowing my streak.
Yeah, me too.
But I have noticed that a lot of my shit comes from the New York Times, and I have a subscription to the New York Times anyway. Like that's where I get a lot of news anyway. And then it really gives me a lot of Newsweek articles. So it's not really giving me a very diverse publication stream, which I was kind of hoping more for. I was like, oh, I should get my news from, some more sources than the New York Times is fairly good at being objective, I find, but maybe that's just because of where I am sitting. I don't know.
Cool podcast. Did you guys?
I actually do want to talk about
That
something
is interesting.
that I found
Just FYI.
on Artifact. So for people who are listening who don't know what it is, Artifact is the new app by the creators of Instagram, which is basically touted as being the sort of TikTok of text. So they're basically promoting news articles based off recommendations. So it personalizes the news for you. That's like the goal of it. And I did find one publication that was personalized for me that I really like. I fell in love with super quick, and it's called
One American News Network.
It's called It's Nice That is the name of the publication, and it's like a design and creative publication that was started as like a university project in 2009, I think. And it was basically like, hey, create something. Put something in the public domain that is for the common good. And so this is like a design news publication, and the art is so good. It's like I really love it, and I just wanted to give it a shout out.
My favorite news piece so far from Artifact is freak accident kills man after MRI machine triggers loaded handgun.
I actually saw this.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, so a Brazilian man has passed away from injuries he received last month when a concealed handgun he was wearing discharged near an operating MRI machine, shooting him in the abdomen. The 40-year-old lawyer and vocal supporter of gun ownership is reported to have retained the weapon in spite of verbal and written requests to remove all metal objects prior to accompanying his mother into the scanning room. So he wasn't even in the MRI. Leandro Mathias de Novares took his mother to the Laboratorio Cura at Sao Paulo, Brazil for an MRI, which is a magnetic resonance imaging scan, on January 16th. And clinical staff are reported to have instructed both de Noves and his mother to leave all metal outside of the scanning room as a matter of standard procedure. They said, quote, "We would like to emphasize that all accident prevention protocols were followed by the Cura team, as is customary in all units," a spokesperson spokesperson for the facility told The Telegraph. Both the patient and his companion were properly instructed regarding the procedures for accessing the examination room and warned about the removal of any and all metallic objects. The reason for this simple fact is fairly straightforward. To image a body, an MRI uses anywhere from 1.5 to 3.0 and sometimes more Tesla magnetism to force the protons in water molecules to point roughly the same direction. So a low energy pulse of electromagnetism gives the particle a jiggle, which, depending on the surrounding materials, take varying amounts of time to return to their starting point. This contrast in proton wiggles is then interpreted to provide a detailed picture of your insides. To give some idea of just how strong the magnetic field is, a fridge magnet is in the range of a few thousandths of Tesla. Some powerful rare earth magnets can be around a single Tesla in strength. So 3 to 7 Tesla isn't earth-shaking, but it's plenty enough for large ferromagnetic items, those made of material that react relatively uniformly to a strong magnetic field, to be given a good pull. A freak accident in 2001 caused a fatal head injury in a child when an MRI dislodged a metal oxygen tank from across the room. Holy fuck.
Whoa.
Holy
God.
shit.
Whoa.
In cases of similar items, as with jewelry, for example, the strong magnetic field could create an electric current in the material that potentially conducts enough heat to deliver a nasty localized burn.
That's why you gotta like, take
it's
your...
like the real life. It's like the real life. It's like Magneto. It's like
yeah, dude.
It's real life Magneto.
This is why you have to take like nipple rings out if you're gonna get an MRI, because it can like literally fry your
flare
nipples.
Up. Yeah, dude,
no, it would rip. It would rip. It might rip them right out of your nipples.
But it can cause electrical burns around.
Because it would heat them up.
Yeah.
It would cause a burn. It would be like if someone had a nipple ring on and you gave them an AED shock. It would like burn.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what happened in Nove's case may never be known. Tucked away, hidden in his waistband, the gun fired when the machine was activated, delivering a wound that would tragically take his life. After several weeks at the Sao Luis Morumbi hospital.
After several...
I mean,
I was like, wait, what? A hotel? Wait,
getting
what?
shot in the stomach.
Hotel?
Getting shot in the stomach, it takes a long time to die from that.
But a few weeks. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
That's like,
you know,
that's got to be outside the
He's
norm.
probably in the hospital trying to recover.
Man.
How crazy is that?
that
Though?
would-
Like that. It,
Like,
do you
I
think
just
it
I
pulled
don't
the
understand
trigger?
like why
do you
you're
think
so
do you
like
think
why what's the deal with not leaving your gun out after they told you not to?
Some people love their guns.
Some people
dude.
love their guns. I mean, do you think it could have been a case of him going like just forgetting that his gun was metallic?
No,
because they probably don't. They probably maybe they do. Have either of you guys had an MRI?
Yeah, I have.
You have? I don't remember. I mean, they probably were like no metal objects, but they definitely didn't like give me the rundown as to exactly why I can't have a metal object. They didn't say you can't have a metal object in your mouth because it might rip out of your mouth. They didn't, they wouldn't say it like that.
But it's also like, because he wasn't in the machine and he was just in the room, maybe he was a little bit like more flippant about the rule, like following the rules.
I mean,
because
think about it this
like,
way.
Whatever.
Like, you wouldn't think
It's
that it would just
such a reasonable place to not have a gun.
But
you know
wouldn't.
what I mean?
Yeah, right, totally. But you also wouldn't think that it would just pull the trigger, right? I would think like,
No.
if the gun's in my waist pocket and I'm in there, maybe it'll pull the gun out and flip it across the room, but it's not going to pull the trigger. Not that I want it to be pulled out of my waist pocket anyway through 7 Tesla of magnetos.
Yeah, but you might think, because like, I mean, what that just described is it's like wiggling the particles, and so like maybe it just like wiggled enough to the electrical shock.
What did you do that with your hand again?
Just
yeah,
salt shaker in your
jiggle.
mouth. Salt shaker in your mouth.
Wiggled it around enough just to trigger the gunpowder, like set off the gunpowder.
No,
like it didn't have to like pull the.
Here's probably what
pull
happened.
the actual trigger,
because
right?
it sounds like it did pull the trigger. Here's probably what happened. So it puts, and I'm not joking. It puts it, because I can see this work on your face, Brian. It pulls on the gun. The gun's in a holster that has it strapped down. The gun isn't moving, but it has to pull something. So the portion of the gun that can move is the trigger relative to the rest of the gun. You know what I mean? The gun can't move because it's holstered down, it's strapped down. And so the portion of the gun that can be pulled and can move is the trigger.
But what about this? Why did he get shot in the belly? What's the whole
very good question? Yeah, right.
Like, where's the holster? Where's that gun sitting? You know, is he like?
Oh, maybe he's got one of those fucking he's got one of like the cop straps. He's got the cop strap,
the thing's
like the torso strap. Yeah, I mean you're making a compelling case for why that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I get it. It's very bizarre.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Do you think? Here's my thought about guns in general, and like I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it's kind of like there's isn't there isn't there a famous sort of like or some sort of like concept in literature and like movie plots where like if a gun shows up in the plot, it's going to go off? Have you guys heard of that?
You mean like there's like some type of like saying that says something like that?
Yeah, there is for sure. And I don't know what it is or how it goes exactly, but I know that like the thing that I remember is that like if a gun shows up in the plot of a movie or a book, it's going to be fired at some point.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same is true, or in a way there's like it relates a lot to guns in life. Like if you have a gun in your house to protect yourself, there's a chance that that gun will go off. And in a lot of cases, in a way that doesn't help you, you know, like not in the way that you predict it.
If you have a gun, you're probably right that there's a higher likelihood for it to go off in a bad scenario that is not helpful.
Well, there's a stat.
Like
out
not
there.
only are you increasing the chances
gun,
of which you might say quote unquote save yourself, but you're also increasing the chances in which you get shot.
Yeah, I mean that's
by that same gun.
That's an actual stat. Gun, like as soon as you own a gun, your chances of getting shot by that gun go through the roof.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily like a person that's like, I'm not like a rah no one should have a gun type of person, but I also like am somebody who has no idea why anybody, I mean, I know it's not the case in Canada, but like, for example, in the US, like I don't understand why anybody can buy an automatic weapon. Like that makes, like it's so absurd to me that somebody can purchase a gun where they can pull the trigger and like 50 bullets can come out of it.
I just personally like I mean people can choose what I'm cool with people deciding to do whatever they want, but personally I just don't see how by owning a gun that makes me more safe, because not only do I have to then own the gun, it has to be convenient in a place that's nearby when I really need it. And when I need it, I'm going to have to be able to act in a way where I make that having it useful. I mean, there's lots of anecdotal evidence that people who own guns don't prevent bad situations from happening.
You guys want to hear something crazy?
I mean, you look at the United States in general with all the mass shootings that are happening. There are the most amount of gun owners per capita in the United States, yet there are also the most amount of shootings. It seems like there's
a very strong correlation.
Like, why aren't the good guys with guns stopping the bad guys from guns from doing the bad things? It seems that they're not really.
Yeah, I would agree. What's crazy, Joe?
A 2002 article in the American Journal of Rowan Genealogy recounts the incident of an off-duty police officer attending an outpatient imaging center in New York, during which a miscommunication led to the patient taking his firearm into the scanning room. While placing the gun on top of the cabinet about 3 meters from the machine, the weapon was pulled from his grasp into the scanner, where it discharged into a wall. Meanwhile, in 2013, an off-duty officer's handgun was pulled from his hand while investigating a late-night report of a burglary at an Illinois MRI clinic, with the firearm remaining stuck to the machine. In 2018, a man received leg injuries in a Long Island clinic when a handgun in his pocket fired on entering the MRI scanning room. And though short, this list of dangerous MRI episodes could grow as gun ownership rises in the U.S., with the possibility of more injuries or even deaths. Several hundred people die each year in the U.S. following unintentional use of firearms.
Man, you would just Like hearing this story, you're like, this is the only time this has happened. and then you realize it's so not.
You know what's funny is like, I mean, this is anti-gun propaganda, I think, and they just promote these stories so that because they don't want us owning our guns.
The NRA planted this story.
I think honestly the truth is that we should be afraid, which should make us want to go and buy guns to protect ourselves.
Oh
Well,
man,
with
guys,
that-
the world is in a sad state. Not to bring us into a bummer situation, but like
I got a story that's
just
a lot.
seems like this just seems like the streak of fucking mass shootings is. It almost seems like it's just is it just me? Is the news reporting on it differently, or
No,
is
dude,
it
it's just increasing.
Or is it happening like every 3 days?
Yeah, it's happening,
Dude,
every day.
But the problem is that it's happening more frequently than every 3 days.
Yeah.
We're just only getting the biggest, like the most deadliest shootings are being
right.
reported on. Like
dude,
there's, if you look at the
it's
stats
so
of
sad,
mass
man.
shootings in the United States, by the end of January, it was like 37 mass shootings in a month.
Yeah.
And a mass shooting was 4 more dead people in the shooting incident.
Dude, it's so nuts, man.
And so like by that standard, we're not reporting actually you're not actually even
It's
hearing
reported
them.
somewhere. It just
Yeah.
may not be reported on in like the biggest, in like the most
Like national,
national news.
international
Yeah.
news, which is crazy. I mean, they're like the craziest thing to me is, and again, like I'm not like anti-gun. If you want to be a responsible gun owner, then power to you. But like to me, just looking at the situation and the stats, it seems more risky to own a gun than not. Personally, that's what I think.
Yeah, it probably feels.
Do you guys want a story that'll make you feel better than what we're talking about right now?
Pick us up, Daddy.
All right, here we go. Instant noodles account for almost a third of childhood burn injuries, study says.
Old people burning, put your hands up. Old people burning, that's kind of messed up.
Instant noodles account for almost a third of childhood burn injuries, according to a study published by researchers at the University of Chicago. The study, published in the journal Burns by a group of researchers at the university's Burn Center, examined data regarding all pediatric patients who were admitted with scald injuries caused by hot liquids between 2010 and 2020. Of the 790 total cases of childhood scald injuries, 31% were caused by instant noodles. Anecdotally, it felt like every other child we were consulted on for a burn was injured by instant noodles, so we wanted to dive into the data to see what the trend really was, said senior author Sebastian Vrew, assistant professor of surgery at the University of Chicago Medicine, in a news release. Our hope is to develop a groundwork for future burn prevention programming, as essentially all childhood burns are in some way preventable. Vrew said he and his team did not expect instant noodles to be such a significant cause of childhood burns. Quote, "We were surprised when the sheer magnitude of the problem, which confirmed that focused effort and awareness on these types of burns could have significant impact on the communities that our burn center serves," he said in the release. The study also found certain children were more likely to experience burns from instant noodles than others. On average, the patients with instant noodle burns,
other noodles?
no other than other types of burns, or maybe other types of children. The study also found certain children were more likely to experience burns from instant noodles than others. On average,
does that mean?
The patients with instant noodle burns were more likely to be black and to be from zip codes with a lower average childhood opportunity index score. The researchers
interesting.
linked the trend to the fact instant noodles are a low-cost meal option. Because of the link, global efforts to address childhood poverty would very likely have a positive secondary effect on burn prevention, wrote the researchers. Children with burns from instant noodles were also slightly older than children with other burn injuries, with an average of 5.4 years. The researchers described it as the age at which children are able to attempt to prepare instant noodles, but not old enough to do it safely. Oh, that makes me sad. The children are also more likely to have been unsupervised at the time of the injury.
Oh man, the whole that racial, like socioeconomic part of that is
Sad.
is really a real bummer.
Have you guys ever burnt yourself on instant noodles?
On instant
No.
noodles, I mean, I probably burnt the roof of my mouth, but like,
Yeah.
my nephew has like significant like burn scars on his hand, on both of his hands.
Oh, yeah.
Like his hands are like really visibly scarred, like 3rd-degree burns.
Oh God.
He touched when he was he's adopted, and he had them before he came to my sister-in-law's family. So that was when he was 3. So younger than 3, like 1 or 2, put his hands on a burner, both of his hands on a hot burner.
Oh, buddy.
And burnt his hands. And now, oh man, he's so scared of the burners.
Oh.
Like super scared. And he's
Yeah.
6 or 7 now.
I would be too, man. Fuck. Like,
Oh my God, his poor hands, they're so scarred up. It's so
God
sad.
damn, dude.
I also think that part of the burns that come from instant noodles is because the advertised prep time to make them is shortened than what you actually need, because we've talked about this in the
That's right.
past.
Oh, right. The
Yeah, that's
lawsuit.
And therefore, people are trying to consume them before they're actually
That's right.
ready and they've had a chance to properly cool.
Because the
and-
cool down is like part of the prep time, which they don't tell you about.
Right. And so like in like 3 minutes, you're trying to eat those noodles when really
They need 5 minutes.
You need
at least.
at least, dude, 5 minutes at least.
Dude, data. How like, dude, data.
Pretty fascinating
weird, man.
research
What a weird
there.
story to tell.
Yeah, fascinating research. This has nothing to do with data, but holy shit, guys, this is wild. This guy suffered from a form of ankylosing spondylitis that was so severe that his upper body folded into his thighs. 3 parts of his body were connected: his chin to his chest, his breastbone to his pubic bone, and his face to his thigh bone. And the guy is from China. And after undergoing operations at Shenzhen University General Hospital, in which his bones were literally broken and reconstructed, he finally stood
God.
straight after 28 years. Check this out.
You say he finally stood straight after 28 years?
有志于艺术了。病过20多年了，不治好，我又死掉，他哪个来照顾他？
So if you want to just tell the listeners what we're looking at here, this guy Li Hua, his name was the Folded Man. He spent 28 years of his life folded like this. Again,
He's literally he's so
like
folded in
chin-
half.
Chin to
Chin
his
to chest.
thighs.
Yeah,
breastbone
chest
to
to his
pubic
You said
bone.
it. You said his breastbone was attached to his pelvis. Like
To
he's
it-
totally
yeah.
folded in half.
Yeah, his face to his thigh bone.
Oh my God.
And basically, what the video is saying is that he wasn't able to get treated because his family couldn't afford it.
So he goes
but
through
was,
several
like,
surgeries.
He had it, but he was he was upright. You know, he had like a typical bone
40多
structure
岁
at
就
one
给他
point.
讲
And
的，我
then,
现在有
Check
志
this
于
out.
艺
They
术。
they get him back to they get him back upright.
听到哪个地方讲得好，就带他去治，都没有效。钱也花过，病没有治好。
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow, look at that,
Whoa.
dude. I
It's
guess
showing
he
us
was,
side by side footage of him folded over and then him after the surgery standing up with a walker.
just a totally different person.
I guess he
he looks-
he
yeah.
shrunk. He shrunk a bunch because of the surgery. So he was
So
a
he
lot
shrunk?
yeah, he was a lot shorter when he was unfolded.
We lost your audio, Jer.
You lost your audio, Jer.
He shrunk. He shrunk after the surgery. So he was much shorter than he was after they unfolded him.
Oh yeah,
Wait.
I guess that makes sense. They might have like, I don't know, who knows? They might have like gotten rid of some vertebrae.
But wait, you mean because like when he's folded in half, how do they measure his height? They don't measure it to like
Well, he wasn't
actually how tall he is when he's folded.
Well, you
he-
can
he
measure
be-
a curve.
he
You can
became-
measure
he
a
became
distance
I
on
know
a
you
curve.
can, but is it really fair to say that you're like 5'7" when you're
6 foot.
folded in half walking around?
Do you mean
Six-
that,
6
Yeah,
foot.
give 6 foot, give or take. Do you mean that he's cheating?
Well,
He-
I mean, I think he's taller now than.
No,
Do you
no.
mean that he should report his height at the highest point away from the floor?
So he
Totally.
he-
Yeah, I think so.
he
Yeah,
shrunk.
What an asshole.
He wasn't folded until after he wasn't folded when he reached his full height, and then he
Right.
over time he folded, and when he came to after the folding, he was shorter.
Shorter, right?
Man,
okay,
can you
that
imagine?
makes sense.
You know, I know this is like a totally different. This is totally different, but I know that we heard and saw on an episode of Feel Good Friday like a long, long time ago, like a hearing implant Actually, you know what? It might have been a gag video that you shared.
Yes,
but it was somebody that had a hearing implant and they heard for the first time, which I know that was a gag
I
video.
don't think
now
I
that I'm
played it
thinking
on the
about
show.
but I know that it's also happened
Oh.
in the past. Like I know that it's happened for real with hearing implants.
Yeah.
And I watched Sound of Metal not
Yes.
that long ago, and
Beautiful film.
and that like totally changed my perspective on that.
Yeah.
On like if anybody's seen Sound of Metal,
It's a film about
movie.
a drummer who goes deaf, and he joins a rehab for deaf people because he has drug addiction, and it is one of the best films of 2021. I think is when it came out. Unbelievable film. You should definitely go check it out.
And he's learning to be deaf, and
Yeah.
like the community's focus is that like that being deaf is not a bad thing, and it's
Yeah.
not something to try and fix. And I don't necessarily have a particular opinion on that because I'm not deaf, so whatever. But it was really, really beautiful. It was
Yeah.
one of the best movies I've seen.
It sounds
in a
like
long time.
the same message behind the movie Baby Driver.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tinnitus
Same
is
message.
not something to shy away from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to feel shame over your tinnitus
No.
or your ability to drive a car like a demon.
With some headphones in.
Yeah.
I got. This is for Brian. I have a top 10 list.
Fuck yeah.
We love top tens.
And this top 10 list was inspired by our recent conversation. Actually, no, it's inspired by two conversations. Sayo Bahan, who we had on the show, who experienced amnesia, and our friend Todd Leader, who was on the show, which that episode might not have aired yet. But his episode was very interesting. Todd was on a drug to help with his restless leg syndrome, and the drug basically made him lose all of his inhibitions, and he became extraordinarily compulsive, which led him to being a very naughty boy. And he was well, let's just say he got canceled.
He was reprimanded for his naughtiness.
He got canceled for his naughtiness because he lost all of his inhibitions, and he was being very inappropriate with
Now, stay tuned for that because it hasn't come out
with
yet,
women.
But it is a very interesting conversation.
and also giving his money away. So and once they figured out the drug he was on, they took him off the drug. He got better. It was all
no need to
sorted.
listen to the episode. When it comes out, don't even listen to it.
So here are the 10 weirdest prescription drug side effects. Weird side effect number 10.
Dude, TikTok
Yeah, I
daddy.
fucking love that. Dude, do more. Give us more.
Amnesia.
Sayobahan, amnesia, but hers wasn't a drug. Hers wasn't. Did you say this is pharmaceutical specifically?
No, this was oh, sorry, I have the wrong whoopsie. Amnesia.
Oh, okay.
Amnesia is a. Oh, I gotta stop that. Okay. Amnesia is a condition.
What the fuck
right,
is that?
Right out of the movies. That's for one of the other side effects. Amnesia is a condition right out of the movies and soap operas. A character suddenly appears somewhere with absolutely no memory of who he is or where he came from. Sometimes it's caused by a head injury, which we've talked about in the past, and another knock on the head miraculously brings all the memories back. Never heard of that before. While other times it's caused by a traumatic event. In real life, some prescription drugs can also cause amnesia, although total amnesia is incredibly rare. This is the case for some users of Mirapex, generic name of pramipexole. Mirapex was developed in 1997 to control the symptoms of Parkinson's.
I feel like this whole sector needs like an allegedly. I feel like we just need to say allegedly.
This is coming from stuff you should know. So it's all real.
I don't want to get sued.
Dude, Taylor, this whole section is basically the same as the small print or the sped up sound bites at the end of a Price is Right commercial.
Like the drug company has actually already
This
stated
is
this.
the examples of what happens when you experience those side effects that may occur.
Yo, listen to this.
Yeah.
In the case of some users of Mirapex, 1997 drug to control the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, it was also prescribed for people with restless leg syndrome. God, don't take drugs.
I think this
for
was,
that.
dude. I think this was the drug that he was. He said it was pramipexole or whatever.
That's right.
Isn't that a?
You're right.
That's a version. That's a version of
That's it.
Mirapex.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So they say you'll see it several times in our top 10 due to the wide range of weird side effects that its users can experience. One of these weird side effects is amnesia. Some patients report short-term memory loss, such as not remembering what they did the day before. Going off Mirapex seemed to get rid of the problem. This side effect can also happen with patients that take statins, a class of drugs that are supposed to lower cholesterol. Dwayne Gravelin, a former astronaut, reported coming back from a short walk and not recognizing his wife when he was taking Lipitor. Then he lost memories of any events beyond his high school graduation. Thankfully, the memory loss was only temporary, and some researchers theorized that these statins may work almost too well, blocking the creation of cholesterol necessary for neurological function. However, they still believe that the benefits of statins like Lipitor outweigh the risks of this rather scary side effect.
Wow.
Side note, if cholesterol is like a very extremely misunderstood thing because it has like all these associations with like health problems. Man, there's a episode of Peter Attia and Andrew Huberman where they do a super deep dive on cholesterol. It is mega fascinating. I'll send it to you guys.
Well, you
So
know
we
what
need
else
more cholesterol?
No, it's just that like it's like if you didn't have
Don't eat
cholesterol, you die
Right.
immediately. Like if someone was like boop, click your finger, no more cholesterol, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like it serves like 1,000 functions in your body, and anyway, it's very
It's
complex.
like if you are
very
drinking
complex.
if you're drinking the daily recommended amount of water, you're healthy. But if you drink a swimming pool every day, you'll die.
That's right.
Like too much water
Yes,
will kill you.
exactly it.
sort of, but not really. It's actually it's much more complex than that. It's not just like, oh, you need it at this healthy level. There's like different kinds of cholesterol. It's very, very, very complicated, but very interesting.
Weird.
And there's like there's arguments for high cholesterol.
Weird side effect number 9, aches and pains.
Johnny, that really hurt.
There are so many prescription drugs that help with different types of bodily aches and pains, but some drugs that have nothing to do with pain relief can actually cause pain instead. Then you have to take something to combat the pain, and that's how people end up on multiple drugs for multiple conditions. People who take antihistamine Allegra, generic name fexofenadine, are trying to get rid of their hay fever and other allergic symptoms like sneezing, coughing, and itchy eyes. They may end up with muscle pain and backaches. However, patients who take Lipitor, generic name atorvastatin, can experience pain and stiffness as well as weakness in their muscles. In 2004, some patients began reporting that their weakness and pain was severe, and they were also experiencing loss of muscle control and coordination. Going off Lipitor seemed to alleviate these symptoms. Lipitor's maker Pfizer cautions patients experiencing pain and weakness to alert their doctor, especially if they're not already feeling well. Some patients have filed lawsuits claiming that the drug caused permanent muscle and nerve damage.
Ouchie.
You won't believe your eyes when you read about the side effect that number 8 is on the list.
Oh, wow.
can you
That
guess
was a
what that's
great
about?
little cliffhanger to
Yeah.
keep us going on to number 8.
Weird side
I'm gonna
effect number
stay
8,
tuned.
vision problems and other screwy senses.
I cannot see. I'm legally blind.
Have you ever swallowed a pill and been left with a nasty taste in your mouth, especially if you didn't drink water immediately afterwards? Unless they're meant to be chewed or dissolved, most pills don't taste all that great. But some pills don't just have a bad taste, they can completely distort your sense of taste. And taste isn't the only effect or sense that can be affected by pill side effects. Vasotec, generic name
Anal.
anal April.
Dude, it's funny because I said anal and I was really just
Anal
joking.
April is a drug designed to treat high blood pressure and congestive heart failure. However, it can affect almost all your 5 senses. Vasotec can cause you to lose your sense of smell and taste, as well as have ringing in your ears and eye problems like blurred vision and dry eyes. All of these are referred to as minor side effects, but if you're experiencing them all at once, you might consider them major. An unrelated drug, Viagra, generic name sildenafil citrate.
That's for anal April as well, I think.
That's for anal April. Can also cause strange things to happen to your vision. Viagra is used to treat
Wait.
erectile dysfunction, and patients taking it have reported experiencing not only blurred vision, but also blue vision and problems distinguishing between the colors blue and green.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they call it, the blue wave.
That's so interesting. Dude.
I
And they're
honestly,
blue
dude,
pills too.
if I was struggling to get like really solid erections, I would rather see
Don't act like
greens
you're not.
as blues
Yeah.
with and have like a very rigid,
Cock.
strong erection.
Strong erection.
Cock.
It'd be a,
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
be fully
Jared, I think
rigid.
also when you like instead of saying like anal April, I mean, unless we want to say that, you can get any drug name right if you just say it like a doctor would say it, right? Like
it's actually pronounced anal April, but anal
I'm sure
April
it's
sounds
like
good.
I'm sure it's really something like enalaprol or something like you just say it like a doctory and then it works, whatever it is. I mean, I'm
Enalapril.
also sure that that's not
Yeah.
right, but like you can just say doctory things and then it sounds doctory.
Yeah, say it doctory, dude.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try it on the next one.
Yeah,
Weird side effect
You're
number 7.
you're good at improv, so you can just totally make it up and we'll believe you.
Weird side effect number 7: colored urine.
Jared's having a lot of fun with the soundboard this week.
You get really good at prepping these sounds.
Rainbow
They don't sound-
urination.
They don't sound as random as the last few weeks.
I took time to prep them. Rainbow urination might sound like kind of cool, but in some cases, if your urine is any color other than clear yellow or yellowish orange, or in Brian's case, brown, you could have something seriously wrong with you. Very dark orange, reddish, or brown urine. Listen up, Brian. For example, probably has blood in it and could indicate an infection. Some prescription drugs, though, can turn your urine different colors just by virtue of passing through your system. Red urine can also be caused by taking drugs such as phenozapordine, used to treat urinary tract infection pain, or defoxamine, used to treat iron poisoning. Here are some of the
Brian,
potential.
why are you nodding your head like like you're very familiar with this?
Because the names of those drugs, he's just
just
rattling them off like he just knows, and
Yeah.
I know
okay.
because he knows.
Yeah, right.
You
Oh,
know,
yes. You
we're on
sound
the
very
same
you
page.
sound very convincing.
Right?
How about this?
See?
How about this game? I'm gonna name. You guys guess the color. Okay. So this color can result from taking Flagyl, a generic name, metronidazole, or furazolidine, and other
That's
other.
Are we still talking about urine?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what
that's
color do you think you
green.
can get? Aldamet, generic name methyldopia, used to treat high blood pressure in pregnant women, can make their urine appear this color because it does something upon contact with bleach, often used to clean toilet bowls. What color do you think that could be?
green.
Brown.
Black.
Oh,
I was
fuck.
gonna say black, but I
Black
thought
pea.
black. How does it get black? You know, that would be super scary.
How
I
about
mean,
this one?
anything other than yellow or orange at the
Yeah.
you know, you get that morning pea.
Yeah.
You know, that morning pea is
Where it
like
burns?
Kind of. It's kind of neon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's got a lot of ammonia.
It's got that
It's got
burn
a
to
lot
it.
of ammonia in it.
How about this? This color can be a side effect for taking phenolphthalein. No, sorry,
I think you're on it.
phenolphthalein, used for
Okay.
a long time as a laxative, but falling out of favor due to concerns that may cause cancer. I'll give you a hint. It starts with a P.
The color starts with a B.
Yeah.
Purple.
So does the drug, phenolphthalein.
I mean, how many colors start with a P? I'm gonna
Puke
go with
green.
purple. I'm gonna stay
Purple.
with purple.
Yeah, you got purple. How about this
Puke
one?
Green. The color is green. Puke is not the color.
Puke
Yes.
is a shade of green, dude. I remember reading something about people who have a really diverse way to express color palettes are generally good in bed. It's a stat.
That's
It's
true.
a
Do you
stat.
think that describing puke as a color of shade of green is like just like automatically qualifies you as a diverse color palette?
That's what it says. Yeah,
That's
that's
don't
what science
know
says.
about
I'm
that.
with Brian on that.
It's
Yeah.
like apricot orange. If you just like put some sort of fucking word in front of it, that means you have a diverse color palette, or at least a vocabulary to express it.
Well, what color is coral then?
Coral is seafoam red. It's this really
Seafoam,
interesting.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's
No,
actually true.
Seafoam green is what
Seafoam
you mean.
green.
No,
that's
but
not what
that's
coral
because
is.
you don't know seafoam red, which means that you're not as good in bed.
This
Brian
color
read that in fucking
Cosmo.
no, not Cosmo. It was a Cosmo that somebody was reading
Maxim.
on Grey's Anatomy.
This color can result from taking Elafil, generic name amitriptyline.
Chlorophyll.
hydrochloric.
More like borophyll.
It's an antidepressant also used to treat bedwetting in children, or Abaxacin can also do it. A muscle relaxant used to treat muscle spasms. What color do you think that is?
White.
Green.
Or is this still number 7
Yeah.
with just different urine colors? Are we still doing
That's right.
that, or is this?
Yeah,
Are we?
that's right.
Have we been moving down the list?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it.
So that's
no, there's
7
more.
still.
We're at 7. Here we go. How about this? Weird side effect number 6, hallucinations.
Can you see me?
Oh my God.
I'll never tell.
find me?
You remember that movie?
That's so
Brittany Murphy.
Can
scary.
you find me?
Can't remember what the.
You might expect to see or
No.
hear something that
I'm
isn't actually
here.
there if you were taking illegal drugs like
Behind you,
LSD
look.
or even a heavy painkiller like
Behind
morphine.
you.
However, some of the most unlikely
behind
prescription
you.
drugs may cause visual and auditory hallucinations as one of their side effects,
Don't be
and it's probably
scared.
not one of the ones you
I just
expect.
want to play a game with you.
Mirapex, along with many other potential side effects,
Hey,
can also cause
Don't you
hallucinations.
run away.
Parkinson's
Please stay.
disease patients have reported
Stay
seeing
with
everything
me.
from snakes crawling out of the
If you
walls to
don't
people
come
hiding in
play
their
with me,
closets to girls trying to
Then
be
we will kill
found.
you.
Oh my god.
Though it's frightening and disturbing to have these hallucinations, reducing or even ceasing the medication often leads to the return of their tremors or other impairments.
Dude, somebody listening to this is considering driving their car off the road
Oh
right now.
my god.
Lariam, generic name methloquine, was invented by research by the Walter Reed Army Institution of Research to prevent and treat outbreaks of
turn this
malaria
off.
in the U.S.
You gotta turn it off, dude.
Until recently, it was given routinely to soldiers deployed overseas. As,
I think he
well as
doesn't
many
know
other
how.
course. Lariam causes some serious side effects, one of them being hallucinations. Do you hear this? Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Both soldiers and tourists have reported experiencing frightening hallucinations as well as violent psychotic behavior soon after taking the drug. Since early 2000s, the FDA have required patients.
I literally can't. I can't do it anymore.
What is that?
You gotta turn it off.
Oh, that was getting scary. That was getting scary.
Somebody's walking their
Oh my
dog late
God.
at night on their own right now, and they just turned off the podcast.
We were
got
playing
really
playing
scared. Some
COD the
people
other
got
we were
really
playing
scared.
COD the other day, and someone started playing that sound over the proximity chat, and all you could hear was, "Can you see me?"
Oh my god. Don't
Hello?
please don't. That doesn't
Can
need
you-
to
can
run
you
through
stop
to
that?
the end again, does it?
Can you find me?
You can
yeah.
stop it.
Weird side effect number 5: strange sleep behaviors. We all have weird dreams at times, right? Some prescription drugs give patients disturbing dreams every time they go to sleep, and others can actually cause users to sleepwalk and behave violently while asleep. One of the lesser side effects of Chantix, we've talked about Chantix, generic name varenicline, is a prescription drug designed to help people stop smoking. It also gives people nightmares and night terrors. Night terrors aren't just scary dreams. People who experience them are struck by fear and potentially wake out of sleep, sometimes screaming or moaning. They don't usually wake up completely, and they don't always remember the incident even happening. Some drugs with this side effect are directly related to sleeping. That is, they're designed to help people with chronic insomnia. Lunesta, generic name ezopiclone, is a hypnotic drug, meaning it induces sleep, prescribed for sleepiness with directions to take on as needed basis. But its users, as well as those with Ambien, have also reported night terrors and nightmares. I know someone who took Ambien, and they drove their car to the grocery store, picked up the ingredients to make a sandwich, drove home, made the sandwich, and didn't remember doing so.
Dude,
Man.
Roseanne like tanked her career on
That's right.
Ambien.
Yeah.
I wish I would like all of a sudden become aware that I had just driven to the grocery store, collected food, and made a sandwich for myself. That'd be sweet, because then you wouldn't have to like actually go.
Wouldn't
through
be
the
sweet if
process
you
of doing
hit someone with your car, though.
that. No, it wouldn't.
Sleep meds are the devil
They are.
You know what? You know what
because
really
they're not actually making you rest.
You know what
No.
strikes me about this though? The thing that it seems crazy is that
I'm sure
it's
there's
not like-
there's a proper clinical use for them, but I don't think it's the norm.
it's not like one, like each one of these side effects, weird side effects, has one medication. It's like hey, here are the 7 medications that
Yeah.
might make you experience some form of this weird side effect.
Well, wait till you hear side effect
Yeah.
number 4. Bowel control problems.
What do you want? Judas Priest Barber is one of those flaming bags again.
Don't put it out with your boots, Tad.
Don't tell me my business, devil woman. Call the fire department. This one's out of control.
Yeah, you know what's really crazy about the bowels in general is I just went to the Body Works or Body Worlds exhibit at the museum.
Yeah.
Guys, they have intestines
called the shit
stretched
poop.
out,
Oh yeah, dude.
and they're so long.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe that your intestines.
How long are they again? I can't remember.
Your
But,
small
like, it's a-
intestines can
it's a-
reach the moon and back.
No,
That's right, yeah.
what is the actual length though? Because it is
your small
insane.
intestine.
It's
It's probably
crazy.
something like 30 feet.
Intestines
30
length.
feet. I feel like it's longer than that, but I don't know.
Small intestines, 30 feet. Come on.
Small. I just mean your intestines in general.
15 feet for the small, but
Yeah. Large intestines short.
Some
Large
says
intestines
22.
like 3 feet.
But anyway, think about that's
My
taller
large intestine is
than
a
like 3
quarter inch.
people standing on top of each other.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's,
Right?
It's very nuts. And,
Actually, your
and they're just-
vascular system can actually reach the moon and back. That's true.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, your arteries, it's like 60,000 miles of arteries in your body. Honestly, dude, I was reading the
I
plaque
believe it's
at
veins,
the exhibit
maybe
on the
veins.
weekend, and I was like, that's
60,000
impossible.
miles.
Like,
yeah,
it's-
that's right.
The moon is like 350,000.
It's 60,000
or whatever. Same.
60,000
Yeah.
miles is the like artery
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, it is. It's
Arterial
60,000.
system.
Your vast system of blood vessels, arteries, and veins and capillaries is over 60,000 miles long, which is long enough to
Yeah,
go
right.
around the world more than twice. So yeah, not the moon and back, but around the world.
Yeah, right. Around the world more than twice.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's in your
I
body.
was very close to the moon. The moon
Yeah.
is 384,000 kilometers.
I'm proud of myself that I remembered 60,000 miles. That's good.
Weight loss can be an embarrassing subject, but it's more embarrassing than fecal incontinence, or is it? Many people would do just about anything to shed their excess weight, and it shows. All the products that sold to claim to assist weight loss add up to $1 billion industry. This includes prescription drugs designed to help during dieting. One of those prescription drugs has a particularly nasty side effect. Xenocol, generic name Orostat, or now sold over the counter at a lower dosage as Ali, is designed to prevent the body from absorbing fat and therefore decreases the actual calorie intake of its users. And during Xenocol's clinical trials, researchers found that up to 30% of ingested fat was excreted unabsorbed by subjects. Patients must follow a low-fat diet around 15 grams per meal. If they don't, there can be disastrous results. Sugarless Haribo gummy bears, it sounds like. According to the Roche laboratory, side effects of Xenocol include gas with oily discharge. Oh, an increased number of bowel movements. Oh, an urgent need to have them. Oh, an inability to control them. Oh, particularly after meals containing higher amounts of fat than recommended. Oh,
Wait. Did it just say that you have gas with oily discharge?
dude, I oily discharged the other day in my pants while I was at work, and it sucked.
That's
I shat
fucking
myself.
nasty.
Dude, since you had your
It's
shit removed,
all fucked.
you're such a poop monster.
Yeah. Weird side effect number 3: compulsive behavior.
This is big time.
Who's Ryan? I was supposed to play right now, but that didn't work. Not all drug side effects are physical. Some drugs can cause people to radically change their behaviors. Many patients taking Mirapex started noticing behavioral problems that they'd never experienced before. People who had only been occasional drinkers started drinking heavily, becoming alcoholics. Others who had never taken interest in gambling found themselves at their nearest casino multiple times a week or sitting for hours in front of gambling websites.
This is Todd.
Yep.
This is Todd.
Shopaholics. People going thousands of dollars into debt because they couldn't control their spending habits. Others became hypersexual or constantly binging on food. In short, Mirapex can lead to compulsive behaviors in some patients. This is exactly what Todd was taking. Mirapex works by increasing the production of dopamine in the brain, which helps the basal ganglia regulate movement of the body. Parkinson's disease, usually diagnosed in people 50 and older, and these people naturally have lower levels of dopamine. Mirapex binds to some of the dopamine receptors in the brain that also involve behavior, reward, and mood. Since 2005, Mirapex prescriptions have come with warnings about these potential side effects, and some claim that this was a case of too little too late, and several lawsuits are in the works. In August 2008, a man who claimed that Mirapex caused gambling addiction won $8.2 million in a lawsuit against its makers, Pfizer and Boehringer.
Dude, we should get Todd to do a lawsuit.
Dude, right?
Yeah. And then he'll give us some of the money. Is that the angle you're going for, Brian?
Well, I mean, like we could build in a referral fee or something like that, right?
Like a bit of a commish.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
okay.
Hey, I was thinking of this when I feel like the word basal ganglia is like such a visceral word
Yeah, it is.
that I feel like we could all probably act out what it looks like. Do you think we could do that?
Yeah.
What is it?
I think I saw you kind of do.
I'm
Yeah.
curious. What do you think? Because Jared, that's a good basal ganglia.
basal
Taylor,
ganglia
what's
is
your
this.
basal ganglia
Oh.
look like?
Oh.
What are you? I think I'm like a
Yeah. That's basal ganglia right
My-
there. Weird side effect number 2, suicidal ideation. In addition to causing hallucinations, Larium has been blamed for suicides in some soldiers. That has also been named as the reason behind murders of several soldiers' wives. It hasn't been officially established that Larium can lead to paranoia and suicidal ideation, the medical term for suicidal thoughts in patients. However, its manufacturer, Roche Pharmaceuticals, added, some patients taking Larium think about killing themselves, and there have been rare reports of suicides. To its list of potential side effects in 2005, the Army stopped routinely distributing Larium to its overseas troops.
dude. That's so crazy. I used to run team building events for Roche Pharmaceuticals, and they were the company that spent the most amount of money on team building events because they were selling so much Larium.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Weird side effect number 1, birth defects. When a woman becomes pregnant, her doctor usually gives her a huge list of do's and don'ts. She should stay away from certain medications, for example, because they can cause problems during pregnancy. There are several prescription drugs that work well at resolving the condition they were prescribed, for example, or they were prescribed for, except that they're tetragenic, which means they can interfere with fetal development and lead to birth defects. Thalidomide is one of the most infamous tetragenic drugs. First synthesized in Germany in the 1950s, this drug was prescribed as a sleeping aid and anti-nausea pill to thousands of pregnant women in nearly 50 countries, although it was never approved in the States. And unfortunately, it was never proven to be safe for pregnant women. Between 1956 and 1962, nearly 10,000 women who took thalidomide gave birth to babies with phocomelia, often referred to as flipper babies. These children were born with extremely short or missing limbs. Thalidomide was taken off the market, and drug testing and approval practices across the world were tightened. Surviving victims of thalidomide, whose families received compensation from the drug manufacturer, are currently seeking additional compensation from both the manufacturer and the German government. Accutane is also a drug that's used to treat severe acne that can cause phocomelia. Because of this, women who are prescribed the drug must commit to following strict regimens so they don't become pregnant while taking it. This includes certifying that they will use 2 methods of birth control, and have an emergency backup, and also have their blood drawn monthly to test for pregnancy before receiving prescription refills. They're also not to donate blood so they don't pass the drug on to other women.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Wild. Well, folks, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll be
That's
back.
the end of the top 10?
That's it. That's
That was number 1, birth defects. You know what is crazy is that the thing that I've taken away from this is that we can't trust modern medicine, and I'm never going to take medication.
Amen.
Guys, I'd rather just go back to before modern medicine was invented.
It's too risky.
It's too
I
risky.
feel like everybody just got along better, you
Yeah.
know, pre-1900.
Yeah.
I feel like things
Yeah.
were just better. It's a better time.
Probably when politics were less polarizing.
That's it for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to support the podcast, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcast or leave a rating on the Spotify mobile app. And come over and join us on Discord, where you can discuss episodes and help us produce the podcast. And we'd love to see you over there. The link is in the show notes of all of our episodes.
And if you want to be a guest on one of our lovely episodes, not this one, where we talk all the shit, one of our other lovely episodes, go to sickboypodcast.com/contact and fill out the guest form.
Dude, I was on sickboypodcast.com the other day because I was updating it with some cool new episode updates that we just had come out. And
any AI? Did you put any AI on?
I did not put any AI on it. But I have to say the proudest thing that the thing that I'm most proud about the website and why everybody should go to it.
The form submission button.
The form submission button is so satisfying to click. When you click it, it's a 3D button and it feels like you're pressing it in, and it feels good to press.
Cool.
And I think that if you're considering applying to be on the show, you should apply to be on the show just so that you can go to sickboypodcast.com and click on the Be a Guest button.
Yeah.
Because it feels really satisfying to click. And if you think it's satisfying, go and click it and then let me know, because I am seeking validation.
Yes.
And thanks, as always, to the folks that make this show happen. A huge thank you to Take Part for the theme music on our Monday and Wednesday or Monday episodes, to Rich O'Coin for the theme music on our other episodes, to Donovan the Meerkat CPAP Morgan for the sound design on Monday episodes, to Jeremy Saunders for the work that he does on the sound design on the other episodes, to Jeff Lonis, who is our manager, and to everybody else who supports us on Discord and the other platform that we're on. Thank you so much. We love you all.
That's
crazy.
This week.
That was
I'm
great.
Brian.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Jeremy, and this is Sick Boy.